All right, back again for another day of training. This is the one-armed phase. This is hamstring day. So my current split, I do 2 leg days, 2 upper body days. My 2 leg days are split between a quad focus day and a hamstring focus day, mixing in a couple of both in each. My upper body days are left arm, right arm rest, and then chest and back and abs and kind of everything else that I can hit in between, but focusing on the left side since I can't do much with the right with the bicep tear. So today is hamstring day. I start with a warm up, um, kind of warmed up a little bit, doing some cardio, doing a full session of cardio earlier this morning. I did 5 minutes just now just to get the blood moving. Now I'm going to do some banded good mornings just to get the elasticity back and warm everything up a little bit more. Then I'll move to hamstring curls to warm up the knees, and we'll be off and running from there. But first, let me rearrange my rack so that I can actually do this. Safety bars are great to have, but you have one arm, it takes a little bit more to change them out. I will put it back in its spot, so I'll just set it aside for now. Whoa. Whoa. I really like the good morning exercise. Kind of hits a little bit of flexibility, hits a little bit of the lower back. So the way you train good mornings, kind of go down and feel like you're about to fall over until like you feel your hamstrings engage and take over, and then you come back up, making sure you keep your back flat, your shoulders back to make sure everything stays in line. You're not putting too much pressure on your back. I like using the bands. So bands, the way they work is when you're at the lower point of the lift or when I'm at the bottom of my good morning, the band isn't stretched too much. So I'm kind of just using whatever weight I have on or what weight is given to me by the band or just body weight. And then when I stand all the way up, it is fully stretched. So it applies more pressure, adds more weight. You can use that on a variety of lifts. Ooh, arm feels good today. A little extra sore this morning, but I think that was just kind of a wake up deal. As I got moving in cardio and ate and kind of opened up my eyes a little bit more, it feels better and better. Making progress there. We are 4.5 weeks post op. Monday will be 5 weeks. Making progress. Probably about 5 weeks away from weight bearing exercises. Hopefully, a week and a half away from getting clearance to start doing PT. We will see. I had music on in the background yesterday. YouTube didn't like that. So I'm just going to put on these headphones today. Hopefully the microphone doesn't pick up all the music and kick me off YouTube again. Ooh. Oh, man. I don't think I've ever trained hamstrings as much as I have been with the injury. I had problems with hamstrings in college, training for football, a couple pulls. I remember training in college, doing good mornings with the college football coach for the first time. We always did good mornings in our high school program, but you're talking like 70, 80 pounds as an auxiliary lift. Go to college, and on the first training session, coach looks at me and goes, 225 on the bar, Perry. I was like, for what? And he said, good mornings. So I did it, and I thought I was going to tear my hamstring. I was coming off a hamstring pull, so that probably didn't help either. I think I said that to him. Coach, I just pulled my hamstring, right? He was like, you'll be fine. I will not be doing 225 today, but that's a combination of the arm and, again, like I said yesterday, kind of resetting on my lifts. All right. All right, that's done. I'll put my rack back together now. Oh. So this leg extension machine comes from where I trained in college. The gym that I trained at shut down. So I spent the better part of 4 or 5 years training on this thing there, picking up a couple of tricks along the way. That hamstring, standing hamstring being one of them. And then I heard earlier I guess last year now, they were shutting down, selling off some equipment. I was like, I want a piece of that place regardless. So leg extension was on my list. And definitely something to remember the place by. Even if I walked out of there with like a single plate or something off the wall, I was coming home with something. So that worked out for me in many ways. It goes up to 200 pounds. Perfect for my home gym. Sure, they make them that go up to like 400, and I'll probably max this thing out if I haven't already in leg extension. But then I can move to single leg. I can do things like I'm doing now where I add a little weight, little dumbbell to the top to get in between. We'll make it work. Yeah, not bad little setup here for a home gym. Got my hack squat, leg press, my leg extension, Stairmaster, full power rack, dumbbells up to 130, couple different accessories and attachments here and there. Quite a little bit more space. There's a couple more things I'd get, but it'll work for me for now. All right, moving up. One more set. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they said, do weights just feel heavier at the home gym versus regular? They're working out at a home gym too. I was like, I've hit some of my best lifts in this home gym. I had a 585 bench press, which is my highest ever. And that power rack without a spotter, have video. Not having a group to train with, not having a partner to train with, definitely makes things a little more difficult. It's not that much energy, but then there's days where, yeah, the weight feels heavier here. But again, I've kind of changed my approach. Before, when it was powerlifting time, it was all about the numbers and ego. Now it's about humility and just listening to my body and focusing on me. So the numbers don't matter as much as the feeling, the pump, making sure I do what I need to do without overdoing it. I say that, but also overdo it. I saw this video the other day that was, there are two modes of pre-workout. One had the dude sitting there with his hood up, all in his pre-workout zone. And the other one was him like dancing and loving life. I lived in both. Recently, I'm more so in the dancing phase where I just enjoy the workout. But that's also because I can't get too pumped up because the injury and all. But hey. So I'm going to do this one more set of hamstrings. And then I'm going to go to some bridge and ham work, which is a little awkward, but you feel it. So I'm going to do it. Again, nice having the privacy of a home gym. Do whatever exercise I want. No lunk alarm here. So while some people use horse stall mats for their gym floor, this is an old wrestling mat I dig out of the trash and cut to the right size. In our old house, it was our whole garage / gym floor. I saved one piece to do deadlifts here. It's become a nice little piece. Instead of laying a yoga mat across the cement, just use the old wrestling mat. Ooh. Glute bridges. You do 2 legs, you do 1 leg. You do it with your shoulders and back on the bench instead. I feel this gives me the best squeeze. Keeps the weight down. I do 1 leg. I don't really hold the weight with 1 hand anyway. You'll see at the top, I kind of give a twist into the weight a little bit. Just feel like it gives me a little bit more squeeze at the top. Whoa. On to good morning. Since I can't really hold the bar yet, I use this top squat from Sorinex still. Allows me to hold on the bar, give decent leverage with 1 hand. I use my trap on the other side, kind of keep it as tight as I can. I also wish I could manhandle those 45-pound plates a little easier, but we'll make do. So that's 110. So we're going to start right here. Again, I've kind of reset the weight, my mentality when it comes to weight. So I have been progressively moving the weight up each week. But for now, it's all about form, stretch, and chasing the pump without stressing the old bicep too much. All right. So I'll set it up like my squat. Whoa! So if you're looking closely, I use the top squat with that one hand. I bring it up a little higher than I normally would, and I kind of push out a little bit. Then on this side, I'm kind of shrugging this shoulder, both shoulders really, kind of shrugging this shoulder to pinch the bar up against my neck and my trap a little better. And that gives me the leverage I need to support the bar without using this hand. Now I have done it before, and I like to do it, but I would need two hands for this. I'd raise these rails up here a little higher, and then use the bar to kind of let me go down to that point of I feel like I'm about to fall over, and I would set these rails up to be at that point, so I would tap it and come back up. Just keep my range of motion consistent, and then the next set or two, as I get stretched out more, I'd lower them, go a little further down, and tap and come back up. I've also done them to where I'll put them lower than I can really reach. I'll go all the way down, rest the bar on the rails, kind of reset my, kind of like a box squat where you reset and then bring it back up and really work on that up phase. Both of which I wish I could do, but I don't think it's the smartest thing since I'm trying to leverage this thing with one hand. So I'll stick to my lower weight, good form, and my reset mentality. So I'll do 2 more sets of this, some stiff legs, some calves, and call it a day. If I were healthy, there would be a couple more exercises I might sprinkle in there. I think next week I might try and mix in the hack squat a little bit. Ooh, you see me reset a couple times so I get comfortable here. Ooh. 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 I don't know if you're able to see that, but that last set, about halfway through, I brought my hand up. I found my hand pushing off my leg a little bit. The last thing I want to do is put too much pressure on that bicep, so I brought it up. Today's not one of the days where I feel like I'm dominating the weight room. But hey, it's about gutting it out sometimes. It's not a shut it down sort of day. It's just it's gonna suck for the next few minutes. All right, let's go. Ah. Oh. Oh. Ah. Before I was talking about how 225 was a lot. That's 200 with one good arm. All right, so my next exercise here is stiff leg deadlift. Similar movement, I know, but I like the way they complement each other. I like the way they're very similar. Kind of just gives me 6 sets of a similar movement with the load being in a different area. So normally I would do a straight bar and probably stand up on a platform to give me better range of motion. But since I'm using a dumbbell, the range of motion is pretty solid. Um, Normally I would probably use 2 of these, but again, so I'm going to use this for extra reps until I feel like I get to a point where I can jump. Because my next weight after 75 is 110. Once I feel like I can jump that far, I'll do it. But in the meantime, I'm sticking with the 75 until I crank out some extra reps. So for this, dumbbell, stiff leg dumbbell, stiff leg deadlift. Get a little bit of knee bend just so I can get a little more flexion out of my hamstrings all the way down, pretty much touch the floor, come back up. I'll try and center the weight since I have one hand. Now, if you notice during the movement, I move my feet around, just trying to get a feel for the best way to compensate for using one hand. But also, I like to be pretty pigeon-toed in this movement. The hamstring is similar to the bicep. It has like 2 strands. So they kind of connect down here in a V. So I'm always trying to get to this inside one since the outside one seems like it gets hit a lot. So I'll kind of be pigeon-toed when I do this one. And you'll see me move my feet around trying to compensate for having one hand. One more. I'm getting a lot more out of the left hand than I wanted to. My tricep and my arm are kind of fired up right now. Maybe next week I'll do an extra set of good mornings and one less set of this. If there was a point where the doctor could tell me, like, hey, your biceps cleared, have at it. You're not going to be as strong. So feel the weight, but let that thing crank. That'd be great. If it wasn't a risk of re-tearing that thing, I'd have blown it up by now. Well, just got news that they're closing school early. Even when I'm not working, I'm working. All right, calf raises. Let me check and see how many I need to get. Again, progressive overload. Want to keep getting better each week. I think last week I did 40. Yeah, so I'm going for 50. So I'm doing this on the leg press. I'll do one leg at a time. Normally, if I was more efficient at tying and untying my shoes, I would recommend to all lifters untie your shoes. It gives you better range of motion when you're doing calf raises. Mine are pretty loose anyway, and I have a hard time tying and untying my shoes, so I'm not going to touch them. But here we go. Get the weight on the ball of your foot and let it come all the way down to full flexion and extension. So that's the end of my hamstring and calf workout for today. We'll be back tomorrow with some chest, back, and abs, single-sided work. We'll get better every single day. Later.